dude. I got it. Everything's cool.
Okay,
I had to change some settings. Okay. Alright, with that, should be live. Sorry about that, folks. It took a couple extra seconds. Ran into a small error trying to go live, but now we're cool. So, my name is Aerlien, and I'll be running Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes for you. Yesterday, this game was ran on Big Boss Extreme, but today I'll be bringing you normal any percent, which is quite different. It has its own little flair, extra speed tech, and today I'm joined by good old Plywood.
Welcome everyone. Hello, hello.
Did some excellent commentary over MGS1 earlier, along with Ghost Babel, and he's pretty much the backbone of this marathon. It's very admirable the work he's done, but now, without further ado,
this is strength of Plywood, man.
We're gonna go ahead and get started here. 3, 2, 1, go. We'll have plenty of time to talk in the docks.
No rush whatsoever. Plywood speedrunners indeed. Well, it also helps that I've run both this and MGS1 a fair bit. And both normal and extreme, so I do have familiarity with both of these difficulties. The nice thing about Twin Snakes docks on normal, though, is you can do a lot of shenanigans. And that the M9 is in this locker.
Freeze.
This is the Aerlien favorite. Everyone has their own little thing they like to do at the docks on normal. You can hold both of these guards up at the same time, and it's pretty amazing looking. Choke a guy out right in front of his friend. I mean, the possibilities are, I want to say endless, but there's a pretty high limit to them compared to the originals dock. And I think what I'll probably be doing throughout this commentary is try to make some comparisons between this and MGS1 as far as the speedrun is concerned, of which there are a lot. It's not just a graphical overhaul and it being on the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine, though that is quite a bit of it. There's strategy, there's approach, there's complete routing changes as far as what you pick up and where. It's really massive. It really lends itself to being a really great speed game because of the change made, barring a few issues with the controls and stuff that we'll get to later. If you watched the run last night, some of this might be a little bit of a whole review again. I apologize, but you know, we want to make sure that everyone who is here, even if you were here last night, that you still get an idea of what's going on.
So going up this elevator, yesterday in the extreme run, had to do a specific juke on 2 of the guards going into the vent, and unlike that, we're just going to be taking the most straightforward path to that same vent and taking out a guard right as the camera spots us. And what that'll do is skip the little snake cutscene of him going, "Oh, surveillance camera," which saves a couple seconds. Again, have radar turned off to save a couple seconds of not having to view the May cutscene, Mei-Ling, of telling us how to work the radar. 3 shots, roll in, and now it's time for some more vent mashing. Unfortunately, crawling speed in this game can be sped up by roughly 13% if you mash your weapon at a very specific rate. It's between 6 and 7 taps a second. That's the optimal speed. And it's very noisy because we get to do this on a GameCube controller. So let the music fill your ears.
Yes, you two get to enjoy this because we have to enjoy it every time we reset in this game. Let me help you out here, man. I got my GameCube controller.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna help make this a little bit faster.
If you have a GameCube controller at home, feel free to join in. Alright, so now we can go just directly around this tank. That guard will notice us a little bit, but it won't be a problem. Because he'll be out of range.
If you don't do that strat, that guard will be directly in your way and you're going to have to tranquilize him. But speeding up our crawl speed lets us get past him with no problem.
Yeah, it's very nice being able to catch him before his cycle actually gets to that point, which is unintended. So that's just another bonus of using that vent specifically. It is the fastest way to get through. And unlike MGS1 any percent, we cannot use the vent glitch. So we have to go through the rest of the entire game, unfortunately. Which involves more of this.
Oh, this?
Yeah, that.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure. I actually have 2 controllers here.
Oh my god.
Would that help? I'll do both of my controllers. How about that?
Here we go.
Alright.
Oh my god. I did a big turn. I holding 2 each
Whoa!
hand.
Okay, sorry. We overpowered it. I'm sorry.
Having a little too much fun. You know, I've been through that vent section so many times. It's like just so monotonous having to do that over and over. Gotta make it spicy somehow.
That's right. That's right.
So DARPA
yeah,
Chief
we're
just
going
died.
into this.
Rip him.
Into the room. I love his little tie. I want a tie just like that. It's like pink tie with green polka dots. Or at least that's how it is in the original. In this game, it's kind of more like orange and white. But we're coming up into the guard rush, the guard encounter, and it's a bit different from Extreme last night. Because we can actually kill people, and this is going to be a running theme of normal, that we can kill people rather than tranquilize them. And Aerlien just did a strategy that I came up with, one of my contributions to this game, the lineup strat, and you move into a certain position behind a line in the floor, and it lines up the 2 guards on the left side to get easy headshots on them. And
aiming is hard.
Big thing, yeah, this part is really hard. It's a very reflex-based, twitchy, and timing-based fight because you can shoot the guards while they're in the hallway. And this is one of the big challenges of playing this game as a speedrun compared to the original. In the original, you can't do this, but you have to time your shots out, be right along this wall so you can get these guards without too much trouble. And even though that wasn't perfect, still like a sub 7, so that's it's certainly good enough for a marathon, but sometimes one missed shot can really domino effect in that guard encounter.
I'd say it went fairly well. Having the ability to use the SOCOM there is really nice too, but I ran into a problem where if you release the A button too fast, or rather release A and then press it again too fast, the game won't register that you pulled the trigger, which is kind of annoying, since there are times where you have to land your next shot very quickly in succession, but it's not a big deal. Just one of the annoying little nuances about running this game that you get used to after a while.
Yeah, the quirks of this game are numerous. It's very much like the rabbit hole with this game. It seems very basic and this isn't too bad, but the more you get into it, the crazier it gets. And he actually launched himself with the C4 towards the hole there and quickly swapped the end mine just to save on menus. And time for shoot the kind of balding guy in the face 3 times. And you're pretty good. That's pretty good, yeah. Nothing to say there, really. Just kind of the joke boss fight of this game, but we love it on normal. On extreme, it's a little bit spooky potentially, but on normal, it's just a fun little joke. And now we're gonna have to call Meryl, and the general strategy here is to let go around. You'll see the 20s, and like about a half second later or so you let go, and getting a 16 is totally good. The closer you are, obviously, the better, but having it be like 1 or 2 away from 50 is it's a good number to aim.
Next little strategy to give a mention to is the roll that's coming up after I go up this elevator. So I'm gonna go to 1, answer this codec very quickly. I can't buffer the input, but I can answer it right before the call shows up like that. And then I'm gonna skip this cutscene and hold upright so I can go around this elevator button, go out, and take some very tight movement, roll at a specific time, crawl through using the advanced crawling method, and just bypass all the lasers, which is really nice. I was just tired one day of shooting those sensors, which was the old strat, and decided to make an extremely YOLO way of going through there, which I've done ever since and has sort of become the standard. It's pretty cool looking. And now the tank
I'm sorry
boss.
I didn't mash the trigger with you. I forgot. Bad.
Shouldn't feel obligated for that.
So okay.
This fight is highly position based, but I'm gonna try and get some nice aiming here.
Yeah, the tank, even on normal, is a real fidgety, strange, complicated fight. Thankfully, all we really need to do is stand on the top of this ridge. We don't have to do any weird movement stuff in a proper position, but the thing is, the hitbox for this gunner's head is a bit weird, and depending on where the tank drives and how the gunner's firing, etc., you can get different results, but it looks like Aerlien's gonna have a nice clean fight here.
Decent.
Exactly what you'd want. Yeah. Definitely cleaned for Marathon. And now we're coming up into the nuke building, and the nuke building has what's called the door glitch. Quickly mash the trigger button while moving in the opposite direction. And
manipulate him.
after doing that, wow, that was
You shot me!
No! She punched him too. Oh man, that's funny. No,
What a scumbag.
that guard can be a real troll. So what Aerlien was going for there was slight time save by rolling up those stairs. It does save a fraction of time, but the problem is that if you're a little bit off with your movement or how you handle it, I don't personally go for this strat, but you need to not only mash fast, but you have to go through building fast and understand where that guard is and his path, so you can sneak by him after rolling up the stairs. It's fidgety.
Right.
And the whole point of not doing crawling under the door is to skip having that Nastasha Romanenko call that we witnessed. And doing that saves... I think that call's probably around 10 seconds or so. Roughly about.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. I really shouldn't have went for it after that accidental roll, but I was feeling it. And unfortunately, I took the trade. It was not a favorable one. So right here, gonna just toss this chaff to save one menu. Chaffs won't really be relevant for the rest of the run, save for one more visit to the nuke building, where I can hopefully redeem myself. And now we're entering the ninja fight, which has gone through a lot of work in the past couple months. Furry 2 has discovered a plethora of ways to execute this fight, and the one we've settled on, RTA, is going to switch to the M9. I'm going to do 2 punches, which do triple the damage over not having a weapon equipped, and then quickly swapping to Nikita for the kick, so that does the damage that's associated with the Nikita smack. It's the max possible damage you can do in one combo. And we're gonna lead him over here and loop him with the Nikita. Every explosion causes him to reset his phase 1 status. So we're gonna do this over and over again until he's one combo away from death. I'm gonna go over here and grab the SOCOM bullets for efficiency's sake. Go over here. Get smacked in the mouth. Totally intentional.
We're just trying to be fair to Ninja a little bit. We are completely tricking his brain into not fighting as he should. I think it can't be overstated at all how important this change was for the Ninja fight. This little glitch with the phase changes, keeping him stuck in phase 1, has saved a lot of collective pain and misery with that fight, because not only does that fight normally have RNG, but the previous fastest way to do that fight involved a frame-perfect attack that has a 2-frame window, and it's a 60 frames per second game, so it's not super friendly. But when Furry figured out this strategy and we worked on it, it's faster than that strategy. There is still a task strategy that involves like is it like 7 or 8 frame perfect attacks in a row?
You basically do that phase 1 strat just at the same time. Instead of using explosions, you friggin' have to do frame perfect punches instead. So take your poison.
Yeah, but huge shout outs to Furry too, who not only has done a lot of science with this game, period, but that fight in particular has become a complete breeze. I mean, you still need to be close enough to do the combos to him. It's still a weird distance thing, but a lot of the other troubles with that fight have washed away. Definitely huge difference execution-wise from the original's Ninja, which pretty much plays out normally. There's some tech to it, but it's pretty typical fight Ninja, just fast. Knock on this wall to get Meryl to notice us. Coming up on the Psycho Mantis fight, and this fight is a bit different from Extreme, as we saw last night, because we are going to be using the SOCOM, not the M9, to take him out. One of the things is that the time it takes for Mantis to take over your vision when you're aiming in first person is increased to like, it's about 3 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that. A huge increase from Extreme. And what we're going to be doing, and by we I mean Aerlien and me, I'm going to just talk about it because that's all I can do right now, is manipulate where Mantis is going to be teleporting to by doing our inputs in a very specific way, shooting at a specific time, etc. And this will cause Mantis to teleport a short distance and us get very easy headshots on him. This strategy takes a little bit of practice to really nail down, but when you nail it, just like that, letting his vision take over on the first shot is completely part of the strategy. And then his right leg, his thigh down, is as weak as his head, so you'll see a lot of Twin Snakes runners aim at that leg. In this shot, you just need to do a quick shot by holding left trigger, right trigger, and A, releasing A, and just get that shot off quickly on Mantis.
I'm gonna repeat that same process for this fight. This position is very... Oh, unless I just... Cool boss. I was about to say, this position's very specific, so you can pull those off, but... Oh boy. What? Oh my god.
What?
We'll take it. You know,
Yeah,
whatever.
He the display. Oh, that was great. So that wasn't exactly how the fight's supposed to go, but that shot after the second possession where Mantis complains that this cannot be, that's a really important shot, and if you miss it, if you miss the weak point shot, then it's going to be teleporting around the room, and that's a time. So welcome to the caves. This is a lot different from MGS1 caves because these dogs are a real handful to deal with. Try and do auto lock with the laser to hit them as we turn the corner. Fun fact, these wolf dogs actually do more damage than wolf's bullets, which makes all the sense in the world. And do some violence against Meryl, shooting her in the face a couple times, just to give her some motivation not to talk to us, because we don't want to listen to her tease us. It's pretty rude. And I do not advocate for bullying, so I think Aerlien made the right call there.
Yeah. Speaking of bullying, Meryl doesn't exactly get a happy ending in this run. So not only does she get abused by us, she might get shot by Wolf here. Pretty much left for dead. Unfortunately, she will be sacrificed for the name of Fast.
Dude, I like Left 4 Dead. It's a good game. Both of them.
I used to play it all the time.
Me too.
Okay, so got the early aggro. I'm going to have a dog flung at my spine, which is fine. I only have one bullet left, so I am going to grab the backup ammo next to the stairs. With tank not going perfectly, and Mantis, you know what happened there. I am low on bullets, and I want to shoot those dogs, so they'll stay out of my way. Otherwise,
SOCOM ammo count is a huge issue in normal, because the first fight where you're using the SOCOM, the guard encounter, you'll randomly get ammo. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you'll get less. So you have to kind of plan on the fly. Right here, picking up the PSG-1T that does not exist in the original game, but it cuts out minutes of backtracking versus picking PSG-1. So hats off to the developers of this game, including that. It's a welcome change.
If there's one general improvement that comes from this remake, it's the addition of taking out backtracking. It's a very welcome thing, and I appreciate it a lot, because if we had to go all the way back to Tank Hangar for that, this run would be a lot more annoying.
Yeah, resets would be a lot more annoying for this one. And to top it off, this game also removes a lot of the unskippable cutscenes of the original game, which is also very welcome for speedrunning. So this wolf fight is kind of a joke. The big thing is that the way she acts, the way she moves is not set. She does have certain places where she likes to go, but like right here, she's just sitting there prone, and that doesn't always happen. Sometimes she'll move around, sometimes she'll hide behind the pillar, etc. But the place to aim, if you're new to this fight, is just below the railing. The fight went by so quickly that I can't even talk about it anymore, because right then, before he said I got her, he did a very quick roll, and the roll gets canceled by the dialogue, so you don't get the after effect of the roll. And while he's doing the roll, he does a menu so that he can have chaff when he exits the torture scene. You guys got all of that? Okay, great. That's Twin Snakes in a nutshell. Very, very fast and furious, not with Vin Diesel, with David Hayter. And quickly surrender, because bros before, the others. And this game needs better programming. What are you talking about? This game has excellent programming. Keep in mind, this game was developed in the course of a year, so they didn't At least I believe so. So they really didn't have a lot of time to develop this game. Not only did they have the trouble of porting the MGS2 engine, but they had to make all these new crazy ridiculous cutscenes and try to emulate the AI of MGS2 and all the features of that game put into this game, re-record the voices. It was a huge undertaking to try to publish this game before MGS3 during that little time between MGS2 and MGS3.
Oh, damn, I caught a cold. That witch, she took my clothes.
And Snake's going to be curing the common cold here with some timed knocks. We didn't really talk about rolling and movement in this game, like when to roll and the issues with the control and movement in this game. So why don't you explain to everyone about that? This game goes by so quickly that it's so hard to really get all this in.
Hey, shut up in
Hey,
there.
I'm not gonna shut up, Johnny, okay?
Shut up in there, will you?
Hey, shut up in there, will ya?
Hey, skip all the sneezes, saving roughly 3 seconds.
My stomach. Damn it.
But yeah, with rolling in this game, the start of the roll is faster than the end animation, and it's faster rolled down and upstairs. Well, certain stairs you don't want to roll, but in general, it's faster to roll
Hey,
in short
I'm
distances into like cutscenes, things like that. And the control issues I was referring to before are with the analog dead zones that this game is plagued with. And that's definitely the biggest programming oversight in this game, that certain diagonal angles will have those dead zones and cause you to walk instead of run. And this strategy is a little bit different from the strategy we saw Jag employ earlier to get out of the torture cell. Aerlien's going to stand up once he hears the click, run through Johnny, and then stand right by the door, choke him once, and then go pick up his gear. And this is the fastest way to get out of torture. You won't have to hear any dialogue, only have to unchoke, exit with the chaff grenade, because we set up the menu before, as long as you guys understood my rapid fire explanation of that. And if you didn't, tough luck. Then go learn the game, learn these hard menus that you have to do on the fly. And this canyon's actually different when you're returning from torture cell than in the original. In the original, there's just turrets and mines, but in the remake, we have guards actually patrolling. And on normal, this line,
Who's there?
as long as you know where to move, it's extremely consistent. As long as you don't accidentally brush up on something or get super dead zoned or something like that, you're totally fine. Just run along the rock, get through them.
Alright,
And now it's time for the redemption.
Who is that?
Nice. That was super fast.
There we go.
Should have happened the first time.
Well, let's just say it did. How about that? Works.
Erase the VOD. Then we have no proof.
There are no other records. They've all been deleted from highlights.
So I'm just going to do some minor menu optimization since I already have grenades out. And okay, that's a PS20. And I need to swap the grenades anyway for the next upcoming communications tower segment. I'm just going to go ahead and swap while they're conveniently right there. Now that I have the handkerchief, the dogs are going to be nice to me, so I no longer have to take risks of having, you know, double-digit pound dogs thrown at my body, which is very convenient. And now we're coming up on the end of disc 1. I'm gonna prepare my second disc here. Interesting that it happens here instead of after Wolf 2 like it does in the original.
It's about the halfway point in the run, so it's a nice halfway mark of how well you're doing. What's your method for disc swapping? This is actually a really important part of running this game, believe it or not.
So, during that codec is when I typically take out my disc, or rather, take it out of the case. So I have the disc out, and I'm holding it with my index finger in the center. I'm gonna need to take off my headphones here because they have a short cord. And I'm stalking the open button right about now. Stop. Oh. One of the very important parts is dexterity between swapping discs and making sure you don't ruin them forever. So I'm gonna swap to my grenade here and pull it right before reaching that corner. Throw it behind me. Huh, I totally didn't see this coming. There are people behind me. Okay, they're not an issue anymore. So this communications tower is very brutal. The Ascension can catch a lot of new players off guard, and optimizing it is kind of a pain. We're gonna throw these grenades after cooking them at very specific spots, and even that is still unreliable because you can get sniped just like that. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
Everything's fine.
The most important throw is this inward throw right here, because otherwise you're going to get really abused by these guards on this flat floor. This section is, I would say, a lot harder to execute than the originals, mainly because these soldiers are usually good shots. Like they will snipe you without any trouble and just be a huge pain in the butt.
Yeah, this is kind of
going
going
to cook and release, just so important.
It's below average right now, but you know, what can you do? You only have so much control over what actually happens because I actually had an extra stun, I could use that. You don't know whether the guards are going to spawn late, you don't know how early they're going to shoot you, and even if you do, somehow, there's not a whole lot of way to compensate your throw. So you just kind of have to take the brunt force of it and accept your luck, which is a theme in these next couple segments, the Hind and Sniper Wolf being two very big parts of RNG in this run. Aside from these three things, it's not a very big factor in the normal category, which is nice. This part is all execution and like a tiny bit of Steam RNG, but it's pretty much down to mathematics. I'm going to be using the D-pad and go down to this girder, walk all the way down, 3 jumps, and then a girder glitch. Okay, got hit by Steam at the last moment. Down left, down right, hold B, fall immediately, and get the weird scene transition bug. Now I'm going to quickly swap to nothing apparently, to my SOCOM, aim for this head, aim for the head. There we go. And now those guards are alerted. They're not going to shoot me as I go across this walkway, which gives me enough time to stun them, so they're a non-issue. They're also stacked on top of each other. I can grab the stinger, and that's a very nice way to get through that part. The backup method being using the PSG-1T and sniping them all individually, because having them die from a lethal shot is a way to deter the rest of the guards, so that's why that method is used.
Plus, it looks really cool. And rolling into that scene transition again, utilizing the little speed boost you get from the roll, without the end part of the roll slowing it down. And we're coming up to the helicopter fight, and I think it's fair to talk about this now, because really all Aerlien's going to be doing here is just getting shot a little bit by these turrets. Not a big deal. So, for this helicopter fight, it's a bit different from Extreme as far as the execution goes in the second phase. The first phase is practically the same. The one major difference being you don't really care about taking damage because of the availability of rations and not worrying about big boss rank. However, Phase 2, that's a completely different story. Phase 2 of the helicopter fight on Extreme, the chopper acts very aggressively and will fly up and down very quickly, try to attack. On normal, you're in a bit of a different situation. The helicopter tends to take its sweet time flying back up and trying to attack you, and that can lose a lot of time on normal. On top of it, the execution window is a little bit tighter because while the chopper is flying back down to float around the building, you need to get a shot off on it, do more damage every time it flies up and flies down. Needless to say, Phase 2 in normal is a huge challenge and can really ruin a run if the Hind D chooses to. But this first part of the fight is completely predictable. And Aerlien has this, he's got the lock on. And this auto lock on lets you, as long as you're still in... Oh. Okay. As long as you're still in the view, I don't quite understand it. It's a bit of voodoo to me, because I've never really done this strategy. But I know it when I see it. It's like a duck. If it looks like auto lock, it smells like auto lock, it's probably auto lock.
Unfortunately, don't have it for Phase 2.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
So
at the start of Phase 2, you can actually loot this, but it's hard. Really hard.
You're gonna have the instance of RNG that really can rough your run up. This guy is gonna eventually... Oh, he just ate my shot. Sick. He's gonna go down here, and when he comes up, it's purely random. And it can take a couple seconds to over 10 each time. I don't know why he complains about losing me when he's the one hiding. Dude! There you go. Okay, that was lucky.
Dang.
I want to stress how nice it is to get auto lock here. It really takes a lot of the burden off of having to aim at these weird kind of janky squares. I'm gonna try and... I don't think I'll be able to finish him off here. The next time he comes up, it should be a quick, easy kill. So I'm gonna expend my stingers here just for safety. There's gonna be 10 ammo spawn right below me, and that was a pretty lackluster Hind. He, on top of execution errors, he just wasn't having it, so that's just one of the unfortunate parts here. This whole first part of Disc 2 is where all the RNG is sitting and waiting for you. By the time that you get your, triumph over the execution hell of Disc 1, next you're in RNG hell, Disc 2, and then at the final stretch, you're in Choke City. So this game, although it's a really really fun speed game. It can also be quite punishing and brutal on both categories in their both respective ways.
Yeah, it definitely should be noted how optimized and how much work has been put into this game. It really is really something to behold, and a great example for the rest of the Metal Gear runs out there in the Metal Gear community as a whole. What has been accomplished with this run, it's pretty amazing. I'm sure you share the same view I do about that.
Oh, for sure, definitely. This game has gone through a lot, and a lot of discoveries came up that no one expected. It is a really fun process to get this game as optimized as it is, and to keep pushing the times. Also, just gonna touch on the strat that I just did. It's pretty straightforward. We're just cooking grenades and taking out those turret cameras that were such a nuisance on the way up. I got hit by one of them, which is still pretty good. So now, if you recall yesterday's strat, it was just lock on, aim at the head with the M9, and I foreshadowed an alternative strat that we're gonna see right here. It's a lot flashier, a lot prettier, and a lot faster. So let's see if I can get this. Alright. Too late, Snake. Now die. Ah! Good stuff.
It's like you had that all planned, dude.
It's like I somehow knew that invisible people were going to be surrounding me. Interesting. Yeah, really cool. It is very nice to be able to just tank damage on normal. Since we have an unlimited supply of rations, essentially, we can take the brunt force of a lot of damage for the sake of maintaining speed. It's really nice because it rewards risky play. So you can try a lot of YOLO things, and a lot of the time it'll work out because you have that safety cushion. So right here for Wolf 2, I have my Stinger out, find out where she is. And now, since I'm standing on this ammo pack that respawns whenever I run out of ammo, I can basically machine gun her from a distance. To see if I can take care of her without this fight getting out of hand. Alright, hopefully she'll come out soon. Nice, that was a good fight.
That was totally acceptable.
It could have went way worse.
Yeah, yes, I would say that's close-ish to ideal for RTA. I mean, you can potentially be faster, but as long as Wolf is continuing to move around the field, that is the biggest thing. You don't want her to hide around behind the trees, because unlike in MGS1 where you just pull out the Stinger and shoot at the tree, you can't do that in this game, so you just have to wait for her to come back out. And a change up from the original, we're just going to drop from this rail and skip the terrible, terrible crane.
Go around the steam here, gonna roll. Yeah, that's why we roll, because get that burst of speed just in case that steam is there. Which is, again, random. So now we're coming up to the cargo elevator, which is a intense, brief little fight. I'm going to be locking on to these guys immediately, which is a pattern you'll find in forced encounters. And I'm gonna go out of FPV for the last guy to get an instant lock on. Very nice.
Well done. So a lot of people complain about the cutscenes in this game, but my biggest complaint is the cutscene for this fight. There are 4 guards, and then the 4th one disappears. Where did the 4th one go?
Yeah, Snake does not take him out in the cutscene, and he doesn't go anywhere, like, whatsoever. I can only assume he just jumped off, because he didn't want to fight him. Yeah, exactly, Pythonics.
Yeah, that moonwalk Actually, it's hard for me to explain how that works. It's like you press forward while... B? I can't remember.
There are two methods. I'm doing the second method right now. You can either have SOCOM out specifically, and you can tap left on the D-pad briefly, and you'll get this one. Or while running and gunning, you can press and release B, and you'll get that weird moonwalk. You can do it side to side. And I don't really know. It's just around these sections where you're not doing anything, it's easy to find silly things to keep your mind from falling asleep. So yesterday, the Raven fight was brought out to be like really precise and, you know, punishing. But this one is, yeah,
amazing. That's what it is. We are stronger because we have food. And finishing them off with a SOCOM is very intentional because that saves us menuing for the final stretch of the game, because we will be using the SOCOM in Rex's lair. But man, I can't believe you didn't do the RTA strat of looking away after you shoot a missile. I'm really disappointed.
dude, with how ambiguous it is when you can next shoot him, I don't really care. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna take out that guy. Someone else here, send back up ASAP. You have to listen to the worst line ever and grab that stinger ammo. Just another case of taking the most straightforward path throughout a room. And now, the final obstacle, not too noteworthy, Rex's lair, but I'm going to be taking out a couple guards here, and then afterward, we'll need to recover our PAL key after it gets chucked in the river, artificial river, whatever you want to call that thing, the drainage ditch. So, this guy, specifically kill him when he reaches the end there, so he'll fall over, be out of our way. We'll get to hear the most epic scream after this codec. Gonna run and gun that guy. Thankfully I was able to take him out decently enough. And where he falls is random, which is one of the drawbacks of this strat, but it can potentially yield the best result. Yeah, that's okay. His legs aren't like as extended as they look, so I can still walk over him and it won't slow me down. So
really interesting.
The next run killer is a very unexpected, innocuous one, seemingly so. I'm gonna swap the grenades here to take out the rat that is no longer RNG. His path is set, and gonna fall from here. Moment of silence. Okay, thankfully I caught that. For some reason, that ledge in particular is way harder to grab than like any other in the game. Okay, rolled through. Got a nice position there on the PAL key. Yeah, thankfully that went well. Your run can die there and you won't even... It happens so fast, and there's like only so much you can do. If you mash too fast, he won't grab it. Also, that was a sick roll. Mash too slow, obviously you're not gonna grab the rope most of the time, so you have to find this weird equilibrium. Now that I have the PAL key, I'm gonna have to enter it in the 3 proper temperatures. Start.
So, important thing to note, comparison between this game and the original is that you can actually run into this room like that, and get to the computer terminal before the camera causes them to close, but
I got too caught up in surviving the rope. It's all good.
Hey man, I mean, I get it. Like, this run is, as fun as it is, it's also very stressful. Even this section is stressful. Even though it's a lot it's a lot smoother and faster than the original because all you have to do is run around to the side of this base on this catwalk and drop down for some pipes and shoot them to freeze and heat the key. You have the drops and want to shoot the camera fast but not dilly-dally too much. And that has nothing to say about Extreme, which adds even more complications on top of all the guards sleeping. But as far as deaths go, that doesn't take too much time just because all you have to do is blow yourself up. There are way more costly deaths that can happen in this run than Rex's Lair. But just so everyone has an idea of the stupid mistakes you can make here, I was on a world record pace run for this category last summer, and was like 50 seconds out of my personal best, and accidentally shot the wrong pipe for the second card, and that was it. That lost me the run. And stuff like that can happen just because your mind kind of goes like, it starts relaxing a little bit once you're at this point, and then you get complacent and you're like, oh, forgot.
Or you're too busy thinking about the upcoming liquid fights.
Yep.
Oh man.
Shoutouts to Snake for taking a Kodak call while in immense pain. They didn't time that Kodak well at all. Either you're hanging from a rope while you're taking the call, or you're in immense pain. It just doesn't make any sense. They threw these Kodak calls in here because they have to. They have to happen at some point, but it is fairly awkward. And we haven't figured out a way to skip this Naomi call, even though it takes like 20 seconds.
I think it would be a fair thing to do to pay money to anyone who can figure out who can do that.
Absolutely. Or any percent style disc 1 from MGS1 to this game would be great.
So now once again, the grand reveal of the sunglasses, the long hair. I'm gonna buffer this codec, and now I have a different, there we go. Because I fell in the nuke building, I had a different set of quick calls that I had to choose from. I had to make sure I do the right one. And get this call as soon as possible, immediately go through. So now we're coming up on Rex. These fights are really easy, but kind of costly if you mess them up. That shouldn't happen. I have to just get in this little position right here and make all my shots count. So what should happen is he'll keep shooting missiles and they'll all miss. He's going to shoot his machine gun and then rinse and repeat. If you mess up your positioning, Metal Gear Rex will start shifting around and he's going to use his laser on you, which isn't a big deal. It's a very forgiving hitbox, and it's just a minor adaptation that you have to be prepared for. Rex 2 is a lot simpler. We're not even going to be moving for it. We're just going to be taking our primary starting position without even taking a step, and just going to be shooting him as soon as his iframes quickly subside. It's just really nice to not have to deal with a stressful fight before an extremely stressful fight. There, It's a little early on the trigger.
Yeah, getting the earliest shot possible on Liquid is fairly difficult. There is an audio cue you can use, but it's in part the distance and the audio cue to try to get that shot off as early as possible, just like the first part of Rex. And we're coming up on the Liquid fist fight, and what Aerlien's going to be going for is what we call the lottery roll, the super baby method, trying to get Liquid in a certain position in the corner so that we can roll at a certain angle to do a heck of a lot of damage. That corner where the Ray Dome is where that corner is. Okay, that's a little baby one, a little tiny baby one. That definitely works. That's a nice chunk of damage. You can get all the way past the D in its name, potentially. But positioning is key, and timing, well, and the angle.
This fool. Look at him.
Dude, it's like Monty Python a little bit. Benny Hill. So yeah, just sort of loop him by making him counterattack in 2 punches, spin around, 2 punches, spin around. Unfortunately, Liquid is fairly clumsy, which, you know, I'm clumsy myself, so I'll forgive him for that a little bit. But rolling through Liquid actually does more damage than the punches, and the kick does more damage than the punches, but not as much as the roll. And rolling through Liquid is actually kind of hard. The hitbox you're trying to aim for is really weird. It's like a sliver in the center. I don't know how exactly to explain it. A lot of that fight comes down to experience and messing around with it for a long time.
Stop.
It's got keys. Let's go.
No real drawback
they
of getting
bullying
shot
you?
here, but yeah, it's just rude.
Snake.
And that little bit of a dead zone there. Always love seeing that.
Oh,
Running to the Jeep.
getting quite bullied here. The idea is we're going to be taking out these barrels at the checkpoint for the left side, and then the right side I'll just be taking out the guard. Since we don't have to worry about not killing anyone, it's just the quickest method. That's typically the theme of normal over extreme, is, you know, quickness over safety. You don't need to do things a specific way to complete the game with a specific rank. You just want to get through it and get the best time possible. So don't need to wait for that guy to go next to that barrel or anything.
Use whatever means necessary to get the fastest time possible. That's what normal is all about.
And now this Joker, he has the strangest hitbox that you can do this fight over and over again and it'll still remain an enigma. Like, you'll aim in one spot, one run, aim in that same spot the next run, and it just won't even work. It's very strange. The transition shots are the worst, because you have to aim at him while he's like moving across the screen with these bullets that have long travel time, like this one. Let's see. Coming up here. Ooh, I actually got him.
Nice.
See, look at this. I'm aiming right at him. He's not taking any damage. There we go. That was actually pretty good. And that concludes this run. Fairly mediocre in terms of speed, but I'm glad that normal got to be shown off with the updated strats and everything. It's really fun, and I wanna thank the runners of the marathon for having me be able to show you guys what I was capable of, more or less. And I'm just really impressed with how far this game has come with the community effort. It was really nice also to have Plywood here commentating for me, because I definitely would have had a hard time doing it alone. So thank you, bud.
Absolutely, man.
Also,
It's a pleasure.
Stop the timer.
You know, that's okay. I mean, you know, the time we spent there being thankful to everyone was worth it. That's how I liked about it. But yeah, guys, if you haven't watched Aerlien run this game when he's doing PB attempts, keep in mind this guy. It really impresses me. He's gotten both records in both extreme and normal, and very easy. That's like the secret record. The ability and talents collectively of the runners of this game, and just the contributions, are so huge, and it's a real community effort. And I still think there are things that are left to be uncovered in this game. It's just a matter of time before we find even more things out. So I really recommend this game as a learning experience to anyone who's interested in learning a Metal Gear game. Not only is it fairly fast, but it has a lot of interesting things that you can do in it, a lot of variations. You can go slower, you can go faster, you can go extremely risky, and get really rewarded for it in the end. So there's really something for everyone. Unless you don't like the GameCube controller, then I don't know what to tell you. that might be a problem, but it's really a joy as one of the people who organized this marathon to see 2 Twin Snakes runs. Even though I myself didn't run this game, I didn't run it or play it until very recently when I got my copy. Once I played the game, I was really hooked. And I think that's a real testament both to the creativity of all the runners trying to push this game and just how fun the game is to play.
Even if it can be somewhat controversial in the Metal Gear community as a casual game, we really want to stress how much fun it is as a speed game. I think that's where it really shines, compared to, its more casual aspects. You can argue that first-person view, since it wasn't intended in the original format, it can be kind of game-breaking, but that also means you can get creative with the strats for a speed run. It's very cool, like everything cultivating to make this run as unique and special as it is. As originally, I was gonna run Metal Gear Solid 2 first, but once I saw this game being worked on for normal, I sort of fell into the same thing that Plywood did. I fell into the vortex. I got hooked. It's so fun, and it's fun to find new ways to go fast, because I think I've said before how speed optimizations have come in places that nobody expected, and I just think it's a really important thing for the Metal Gear community.
Also, it's really funny. So if you like memes and hilarious cutscenes, you're in luck. You're absolutely in luck. And I guess I might as well say this since we're here. I will be running this game at the end of June at Summer Games Done Quick, and that's gonna be it's gonna be something. I'm hoping for great results, to be able to give you guys all great commentary and a great run there as well. Even though I did not run this game at this marathon, I honestly didn't want to. I want Blue and Aerlien to shine, because they have been really instrumental in pushing the game as far as it's been pushed. So we've done a lot of sentimental, nostalgic happy talk through these credits. And I think it's totally worthwhile. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit mushy, but come on, guys. Speedrunning, it's about the relationships you make between people and pushing things down together, pushing that time down together. And memes.
And dog butts.
You mustn't allow yourself
And
to be
shut
tamed,
it up in there, will ya?
to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. Snake, whether you've been programmed or not isn't important. The important thing is that you choose life. And then live.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out.
So as we wait for the end result screen to see what that in-game time is, let's give a quick preview of what we have left. We only have 2 runs left, folks watching. We have Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes by One Cool Man, who's running all missions new game, and the final run of the night, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, Chapter 1 Any Percent by Steg Dark Horse. And that, my friends, will conclude the first ever Metal Gear Speedrunners Marathon on this channel. And we do hope to bring you more content like this in the future. More marathons, more tournaments, etc., etc. And we hope that you've enjoyed the marathon so far, and that you guys will stick around for 5. It's a really cool set of runs. OCM has pushed that game extremely far, and Any Percent Phantom Pain is a really neat run with a lot of neat little tricks and tech to it.
To rule the world. Yes. Yes, sir. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one. Solidus. What should I do about the woman?
What's your number guess for this IG, Aerlien?
I understand. Surveillance.
55-20? Something around there?
Yes. Yes.
55-30?
Thank you. Goodbye, Mr.
It's kind of hard to tell. I don't usually gauge it based on my RTA.
It's kind of hard in this game to actually guess.
55-56, yeah. Okay.
Oh man, it's so close to the 5-5-5-5 deal.
Because of that continue. I've totally forgot about that continue. But yeah. Almost got the meme time, 55-55. So, with that, I want to give one final thank you to the marathon holders, T Plywood, for giving me this opportunity. It was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate it. And shout outs to all y'all for your continued support and efforts. You made this a lot of fun and really successful. With that, I'm going to kick it over to One Cool Man, and he's going to bring you a nice hype MGS5 Ground Zeroes run. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.